Hey everybody, it's your well woman practitioner Lashana Moore. It is time for another wellness review. I kind of hinted to this one in my last review of The Deliverance, and I was like, ooh, I might have to review this one too. But this movie was called Blink Twice. Now, this was unique because Gina and I love movies, we love TV shows, we love documentaries, we love mysteries, we love good TV. And we wanted to go to the movies, but there was nothing that was really drawing us at the moment. So it was like, okay, let's watch these trailers and see what seems halfway appealing, and then we'll go from there. And I came across this one. I was like, you know what? I think this one has a little bit more suspense and momentum that I think both of us will enjoy. And so it was Blink Twice. This was directed by Miss Zoë Kravitz, honey. Didn't know that she was directing films. Major kudos to her. It features, I believe he's her fiance, Channing Tatum, Adria Arjona, Naomi Ackie, the British star who played in the latest Whitney Houston movie, Alia Shawkat. There were some others. Gina Davis is in this film as a supportive role. Christian Slater is in this film in a different acting dynamic than we usually know him to be in. And I want to give you a little bit of the synopsis, and then I'll plunge into how awesome this movie was and why. So, when tech billionaire Slater King meets cocktail waitress Frida at his fundraising gala, he invites her to join him and his friends on a dream vacation on his private island. Wild nights soon blend into sun-soaked days, but when strange things start to happen, Frida must uncover the truth if she hopes to make it out alive. So Frida is a young lady who is really trying to figure out life. She doesn't quite know what she wants to do yet. She has a roomie, and right now they're just trying to keep their head above water. They work as cocktail waitresses for these VIP events, and they have a natural panache for adventure outside of their mundane life. And so at this particular fundraising gala, she meets this man that she has been researching. She's been Googling this latest incident that surrounds his name and his reputation. Slater is played by Channing Tatum. He's this tech billionaire. He went through a public scandal of which he made a public apology for and made the decision that he was going to step away from the public for a while so that he could get therapy and get himself together. So we assume that that's what he's been doing. He has this fundraising gala. He performs well. He moves well. His mannerism, his behaviors would reflect a changed man. And so she has a goofy moment. She and her girlfriend finished doing their job of being waitresses for the gala. They have packed their cute little evening gowns, something that you get from like Dots or something like that, in their backpack, and they're gonna join the party. She trips and falls on the floor. She catches everyone's attention because of the clumsiness, but she also catches Slater's attention. Anyway, one thing leads to another, and he takes a liking to her. At any rate, before he leaves, he invites her to take a trip with who we think are friends, to his private island. Yes, honey, he has a private island. Well, the days are filled with enjoyment, smoking, drinking, champagne. Listen, they come to this island. Everyone is on his private jet. He's not packed anything, right? But everything is supplied on the island. This is like your ultimate getaway. It's like one of those getaways where your boo says, hey, babe, meet me outside at 8 o'clock. We're going to the airport. You don't need to pack anything. I got us. Oh, boom. I'll be ready. You said 8 o'clock, nothing to pack. I got you. I can do that, right? They get to the island, these beautiful trees, lush landscape. There are pools. There's a little bit of everything on this island. She's looking at everything, and she plans to really continue to catch the eye of Slater because Slater is giving her a sense of value. She's taken and she's smitten by him. You know he's charming. First of all, is Channing Tatum. Okay, there are some things that she does observe that It's a little odd, but she, throws that to the wind as you usually do. Little red flags. Let's say the flags are pinkish. They're going to turn fuchsia and then ultimately blood red. Slater's assistant, it appears, has taken up their phones. Okay? Now, in this digital society, in this age, we are not going somewhere to where we have to give up our phones, unless you're going to like a meditation resort. You're doing things like that where you are intentionally trying to unplug and you're doing something different with your life. But she takes their phones. And there's this one guy that constantly is snapping pictures with this Polaroid camera. But she starts to observe some things. Number one, she can't remember how long they've been on the island. She asks, what day is it? How long have we been here? And when she asks Slater, he doesn't tell her. There's also another young lady who's been trying to catch his eye and get his attention. Heather. She's known for being a cast member on like a Survivor show. Something happens one day during their flighty, reckless night. Her friend that she came there with, Jess, gets bit by a snake. Next day, Jess is completely gone from the scene. And then just randomly, Frida remembers, oh, my friend, I had a friend, Jess. The other girls, they're having a girls' spa day. Nobody remembers Jess. So this sparks Frida's curiosity even more. She's got to find out what happened. Well, everyone's acting like Jess never existed. Frida wanders into spaces on the island to discover more things. And yes, boy, does she discover. Well, she goes into this room where the maid has a look that if she could get your attention, she would. And she's got a jar of green liquid. And she offers it to Frida to drink. And it's the worst thing she's ever tasted. And it is the venom from the snakes. The maid has been picking up the snakes. What she's been doing is taking the venom and creating an elixir. It starts to bring Frida's memory back. All of the men on the island have been joined into this plan with Slater to help the women forget everything. Partying with them and dining with them at night, and then beating them, tying them up, and raping them, making them completely powerless, cleaning them up. The next day, they wake up and they don't remember a thing. So she teams up with Heather. Now, she and Heather were going to be nemesis because they both admired Slater. But I like that there are symbolisms in this movie. One of them is about sisterhood and realizing that your sister is not your enemy and that you may be in a situation where you need to team up with your sister so that the two of you can be empowered to save your life and to advance to what is next in your life. See those layers there? And so they have to play forgetful, ditzy girls like they were really behaving when they first came onto the island. Because you start to see like odd things and they can't remember how they got there, like dirt under the fingernails, bruises on their hand. So they play the part, they play the role until things escalate one night at dinner where they're getting ready to go rogue and they are going to kill these men. They're going to get revenge. They're going to save their lives. Frida took Heather to drink some of the venom so that she could start remembering some things, catch her up to speed. Frida and Heather team up, baby, and it's literally badassery. It is bad women reclaiming, look at the symbolism, reclaiming womanhood, independence, individuality, freedom from man's idea and perception, freedom from themselves, from trying to compete for a man, compete for validation in something or somewhere else. And it comes to a head with Channing and the two ladies. It was almost like he was experimenting. This whole thing was an experiment. I mean, he had his therapist there. He had another guy who was journaling, and it was like they were putting this formula together. It was a psychological trip. And so his whole philosophy now, it just was messed up. His whole philosophy became, you cannot forgive. Forgiveness is not an option. Forgetting is. Forgiveness is not an option. but forgetting is. So pause. Wellness moment. The things in our lives, whether it's a system, whether it's a person, whether it's a circumstance that has taken advantage of us, a situation in our lives, or an ideology that we have formed in our lives because we have failed to forgive, or because an experience has caused us to no longer believe in the power of forgiveness. How it gets us tripped up. People get us tripped up. Dysfunction gets us tripped up. Poor relationships, bad habits get us tripped up. And these women had to reclaim their mind, and they had to join forces. That's the takeaway I want to leave with you. I was like, Jean, we did that. We did this movie. This was a good choice. It was better than I thought it was going to be. And it was only an hour and 42 minutes. Check it out. Blink twice. Oh, I got to put this in there. When Frida's memory came back, guess what, y'all? She realized that she'd been there before. She'd been at the island before. This has happened to her before. And it poses the question to us, how many times have we repeated? I love that about Blink Twice. How many times, y'all, have we been in a situation before? Baby, the symbolism in this thing. Zoë Kravitz, superb job. This has been your Well Woman Practitioner, Lashana Moore, with another movie wellness review. Live, age, be well and whole. Bye, y'all.